Hi guys, this is Mager. I survived the trip from Ushuaia in Argentina um, to Porvenir in Chile. Now I'm in the hostel here in Porvenir. And I'm very happy about it. I don't want to go outside. And if you ask me how it was, well, I have to tell you that you can say it was challenging. Yeah, it was a huge challenge, but it was just like a wind hell. It was very exhausting, physically demanding, difficult. Sometimes it was very cold, but the worst thing about this is wind. Wind and so-called ripio roads. I'm very satisfied that I did it, but it was really difficult. It was really difficult, and it was really exhausting. And this route, this way I took, is not for the weak people. And it almost broke me into pieces. Now I'm fine because I'm in the hotel or hostel, but it was really a big challenge. And yeah, the worst thing about this is wind. I mean, almost all the way here I had like a headwind. Maybe a few hours there was no wind, and the rest of the way was just a headwind or a side wind. For the first part from Tolmin to Rio Grande, which I did by Ruta Provinciale, not on the Ruta Nazionale 3 or 3. I took it by Ruta Provinciale. It was it was difficult. It was windy a bit, but the ripio is something which is also a challenge, especially if you're starting. And that time I was already exhausted, but then I had to go to the border. But the wind is it's you cannot imagine this. You have to experience it. Sometimes it was more than 100 kilometers per hour. And when you cycle like this with this wind, you can cycle like 3 kilometers per hour. Normal was for me 5 or 7. I had to cycle a pedal when I was going down, because in other case I would just stop. Can you imagine? You're going down and you have to cycle. You have to pedal. That's really demanding. Yeah, and it's like mentally it's very difficult, because it's like someone decided to turn on the hair dryers and to dry your ears for the whole day for like 5 or 6 days in a row. It made me angry. I was like shouting. I called the Tierra del Fuego some names. I was throwing stones, jumping. It was just making me crazy, especially when I was tired and hungry. I took food with me for I was thinking it's going to take me 6 days. When I was in Poland, I was thinking that this trip, this part, going Tierra del Fuego will take me like 3 days. Then I was told it will be like 6 or 7 days. But finally, I did the trip from Tolmin to Porvenir here in 10 days. In 10 days I wasn't in any shop. I was eating what I bought in Tolmin. I had the whole bag of food, and still I have something. I have polenta, which is some corn flour, I guess. But there is not much left. All the dry fruits and all the cans I had, it's finished. So I almost was with no food, but I survived. And I was filtering water also to have water. So this was really physically demanding. And if you're interested how I was doing, well, I'm satisfied. I have some notes here. I did some notes, so it's easier for me to share my thoughts with you. Of course, I lost my weight quite a lot. Now I'm already quite in shape after 10 days of cycling, because it was really difficult. My equipment, well, my tent, I'm not really satisfied with the tent. I broke one of the poles of the tent is broken. There is a video about this, so I will share it. So you can see like the tent, the pole here broke, and there was a very heavy wind, and it just couldn't resist the power of the wind, so it broke here, and it broke in the way that the aluminium which is made of, it was bended, and I have like the repair kit tube, special, like a bit bigger tube which you can use for repairment, but I couldn't put it, so I had to use my knife. I have the big knife, which I don't know where it is now, to cut the aluminium, to cut the rope inside, and just to somehow fix it. And then I was able to put the repair kit tube and then use the duct tape to keep it in place. This was really difficult, and I had to do it everything in the strong wind, really strong wind. It was throwing stones from the road on me when I was trying to fix it. Thanks God there was no rain. But yeah, the whole thing was, I mean, the views are very, very nice. It's beautiful here. Okay, if you're interested what road I took, it was from Ushuaia to Tolwyn. I mean, I took Ruta Națională 3, then from Tolwyn to the like a border pass, I took Ruta Națională 3, then after like 50 kilometers I went to the left on Ruta Provincială H, then Ruta Provincială F, and then Ruta Provincială B, and then I passed in Bella Vista or Bella Vista. It's a south to San Sebastian, which is a normal way for the people who go from San Sebastian through San Sebastian do this trip like in 6-7 days. I did mine in 10 days. And then from the border with Chile I went to Cameron and then to King Penguin Park, and then I went to Porvenir, near just at the coast of the so-called Useless Bay. And now I'm in Porvenir. On the way, what happened on the way to me, I was safe. It's physically demanding, but people are very nice on the way, and there are no like speeding cars which can hit you. I had only a few cases in the route from Tolwyn on the Ruta Națională when I was almost hit by truck. They don't really stop, and they don't try to overtake you. They just horn, they just beep, and then you have to go to the sideway, which is not nice and it's pretty scary. But from the things which happen, and I'm showing in the other videos, is like I had 2 flat tires in the same day. I will also show you how I was filtering water. I had a very nice visit in the King Penguin Park here nearby Onassin, and the people who work there, they taken care of me, because when they saw I'm putting tent nearby them, and they knew it's going to be 100 kilometers per hour wind in the night, they just decided that I can sleep in the park. And I stayed with them for almost the whole day. They gave me supper. I was allowed to have a shower after like 7 or 8 days of sleeping in the tent. For the first moment I didn't really want to have a shower. I was like, I don't need a shower. Why should I have a shower? I'm used not having a shower. But then they insisted, because in the morning they told me, well, just take a shower. And I guess I was a bit stinky. I got breakfast and I also got lunch. It was so amazingly tasty. After 7 days of eating like rice, pasta, dry fruits, no meat, no proteins, nothing. I was talking to them when they were just cooking this. I had like a mouthful of saliva, so it was amazingly good. And I also was allowed, of course, to go to see the penguins, and I also made an interview with them when they are just telling something more about the penguins, how to protect the penguins, why the tourists should be more careful. Because they asked me to tell you that the problem with tourists is that they want to they jump over the fence there, not to pay the fee. It's 14,000 Chilean pesos, which is like, I don't know, $20. So they don't want to pay a fee for entrance. It's 12,000 Chilean pesos. And then they go very close to the penguins. The problem is that when you go close to the penguins, king penguins, is that they start, of course, they are distressed, they are getting nervous, and they start to fight each other. And because of that, if the whole group is fighting, they can kill their youngs, which is not good. And the population here is only 110 penguins, and it's the only population of king penguins here in South America. The rest is on some islands nearby. So guys, if you go there, if you don't have money, just go and ask them, maybe you can see them. And if you decide to jump over the fence, don't come close to the penguins, because the population will shrink, and this is not what you want. I mean, you make one picture from nearby, you have a penguin just beside you, and then penguins might be distressed and start killing their youngs. In the last year, only one young survived and just became an adult or a semi-adult. So guys, don't do it. If you decide to jump over the fence, don't come close to the penguins, but rather ask them. Maybe if you really don't have money and you're on the budget, just ask them if you can go for the half price, and yeah, maybe they will just allow you. They are nice people, but of course they use this money to also to protect penguins and make they make research on them about diseases. So in interview you can hear something more about this. But there are like funny moments on the way. I had I visited a dead ship shelter on the way with some ancient drawings on the wall, which you can see. Yeah, and that's it. I'm satisfied that I did this trip. It wasn't easy. The views were beautiful. It's really amazing to see it, but it's very hard to do it. Really, really hard. If you want to see Tierra del Fuego, which is not Patagonia yet, just better if you're not in shape and you don't have much time, just take the plane to the Punta Arenas and they take a car trip, a day trip, and you will see everything what I see, but you will not be so exhausted. I mean, my purpose is different, of course. I just want to cycle to Alaska, so it was a really thing which put me in shape. Yeah, and I guess yeah, so it was 606 kilometers. I did it in 10 days, which is almost 56 hours in total, which is not more than 5 hours and 5-6 hours a day, which is quite a lot if you take into account this wind. It's really exhausting. And in total I went like 5,800 meters up and then 5,800 meters down. And maximum height was like 484, so it's very hilly area here, and it's windy and it's repair roads, so this is really not for the weak people. I'm satisfied, but if you want to see this, you don't have to do it like I did. Okay, this was Magyar. Watch my other videos about this part of the world, and subscribe to my channel. Take care. This was Magyar. All the best, and have a good life. Bye.